There's a team dominating college basketball outside of the power conference structure with respect to the Big East and Gonzaga, a team whose metrics show they can compete down the stretch with anyone they face. We're talking about the St. Louis Billikens, led by coach Josh Schertz. He has the team competing at an insane level, especially for a team in the A10 conference. Schertz was hired from Indiana State, where he boasts an incredible resume of winning. Throughout his tenure from Lincoln Memorial to St. Louis, he has a record of 443 wins to 125 losses. His win percentage is 78%. Throughout his 2 years at St. Louis, he is currently 40-16 with a winning percentage of 71%. We've already seen St. Louis surpass last year's record of 19-15. At the time of writing, the Billikens sit 19th in the nation, first in the Atlantic 10, and have an overall record of 22-1. For a team outside the power conference structure, they're putting up numbers similar to high major teams, ranking top 10 in categories like points per game, assists per game, rebounds per game, field goal percentage, three-point percentage, threes made per game, and point differential. Offensively, Schertz sets this team up to win, and the stats indicate just that. He prioritizes a true 5-out system and doesn't care who the ball goes to. The reason is simple. The Billikens have 6 players averaging double figures across the season. This offense runs on reads and spacing more than set plays. It's what Schertz calls organized randomness. Players are spaced, the ball moves, and whoever has the best look takes the shot. That's why the scoring is so spread and balanced. The team is led by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, formerly known as Robbie Avila. He transferred from Indiana State and followed Schertz to St. Louis, where the big man is the focal point of the offense. He's nothing short of a stat stuffer, averaging 13 points, 6.9 rebounds, and 4.1 assists per game. A lot of the offense flows through him at the top of the key, where he can step out and hit a three or find the open man. He's essentially quarterbacking the offense from that spot, reading defenders and making the right decision, very similar to how a passing big like Nikola Jokic operates. You'll often see St. Louis enter the ball to Avila at the top and immediately run split action off him. 2 perimeter players move, the defense has to choose, and that hesitation opens a backdoor or a clean 3 for Avila. If defenders stay home, he can pop or reset. If they help, he slides it to the backdoor cut, and that's an easy layup. It's extremely simple and repeatable, yet extremely hard to guard on defense, and it's a big reason this team shoots over 52% from the field and over 40% from 3. The other baller is Trey Green, a redshirt sophomore transfer from Xavier. He shoots 49.7% from the field and 48% from deep. He's putting up 12.3 points per game and has had 4 games with 6 or more threes in one game. His best came against Dayton, where he went 7 for 10 from deep. The next 4 guys who make up the Big Six all produce similar stat lines, hovering around 10 points and 4 to 5 rebounds per game. Deion Brown, a senior guard who transferred from Boston College, averages almost 11 points per game, 5.8 rebounds, and shoots 61.4% from the field. Then you have Amari McCautry, Quentin Jones, and Kellen Thames, all averaging 10 and at least 4 rebounds per game. The Billikens' Big Six average 66.7 of their 91.3 points per game, making up over 2/3 of their offensive production. As you can see, Schertz puts faith in his players to get things done, and they've absolutely done so, and their numbers reflect that. First in the national point differential, 3rd in field goal percentage, 4th in 3-point percentage, 6th in points per game, 7th in both assists and rebounds per game, and 8th in threes made per game. They also play with pace, ranking around 30th in offensive efficiency and 23rd in tempo per the Ken Palm. You're probably questioning their resume and who they've played, so let's discuss that. An A10 team ranked 19th with a net of 15 usually points to real success, and in this case, it does. The Billikens' only loss came on a last-second 3 against Stanford earlier in the season, in which they only lost by 1 point. Other than that, it's been smooth sailing. They're 2-0 in Quad 1 games, beating Santa Clara by 1 and beating conference opponent VCU on the road by 9 points. They're 3-1 in Quad 2 games, with wins over Grand Canyon, Duquesne, and Davidson. Their Quad 2 loss and only loss overall was to Stanford, and in Quad 3 and Quad 4, they are combined 16-0. Schertz and the Billikens are beating up on A10 opponents, which explains why their point differential is so high. We're talking a 31-point win against Dayton, 35-point win against St. Bonaventure, a 25-point win over Richmond, and a 23-point win over St. Joe's. I think you get the picture. As of now, it looks like St. Louis will roll into an A10 title and likely land somewhere in the 6 to 8 seed range for the NCAA tournament. They still have a few big conference games left to wrap things up, Dayton and VCU in the span of 4 days, but the ultimate test is March 7th, their final regular season game on the road at George Mason. George Mason sits 2nd in the conference, so if things do tighten up, that game could decide the top seed for the A10 tournament. There are high hopes for this team heading into March, but the pessimists might point to one final storyline: whether St. Louis can even keep Josh Schertz. With rumors about Big East or Northern jobs starting to circulate, people wonder if leaving would even be a step up. There's rumored future investment into St. Louis basketball that could potentially keep him in place. Providence fans already want him if the job opens up, and with Kim English in charge, he's probably gone. So the real question becomes, would you rather be fighting uphill in the Big East or dominating the Atlantic 10? That's subjective, but if I were advising Schertz, I'd tell him to stay put in St. Louis. Let me know your thoughts on this Billikens team and whether you think Schertz should jump to the Big East. I'm Cobalt Productions. Thank you for watching.